Deuteronomy, remember the Lord your God. The Book of Deuteronomy is the final message of Moses to God's people before they enter the Promised Land after 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. A new generation stands on the edge of Canaan, ready to begin again. But before they cross over, Moses calls them to remember who God is, what He has done, and what He has promised. God's covenant renewed. Deuteronomy means second law, but it is not really a new law. It is a renewal of the covenant God made with His people. Moses reviews everything the Lord has done, how He rescued them from Egypt, provided in the wilderness, and gave them His commandments so they could live in blessing and peace. Over and over, Moses reminds them, the Lord your God is one. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and strength.
Deuteronomy 6:4-5.
This is the heartbeat of the entire bookhand, really, the heartbeat of our faith. God isn't looking for empty obedience. He desires relationship. He wants our whole hearts, God's promises and warnings. In Deuteronomy, Moses sets before the people a clear choice: life or death, blessing or curse. If they trust and obey God, He will bless them in the land He's giving them. If they turn away, they will face the consequences of rebellion. It's not about control, it is about love. God knows that life apart from Him leads to destruction, but walking with Him leads to abundance. Even in His warnings, we see His mercy. He continually calls His people back to Himself. God's faithfulness through the generations. Moses also reminds Israel that God's promises do not end with one generation. The same God who was with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is still with them. Even though Moses will not enter the Promised Land, he passes the mantle of leadership to Joshua, proving that God's work never stops with one person. His plans are bigger than any single life. And at the very end, we see one of the most touching moments in Scripture. Moses climbs Mount Nebo, looks across the land God promised, and then dies in peace. It's a powerful reminder that faithfulness sometimes means finishing well. Even if we don't see the full promise fulfilled in our lifetime, what this means for us today, Deuteronomy calls us to remember who God is and to live faithfully in response to His love. Like Israel, we need reminders of how far God has brought us. Gratitude keeps our hearts soft and our faith strong. God still calls us to love Him with all our heart. We, too, must choose life daily, trusting His word, walking in His ways, and teaching the next generation about His goodness. When we remember God's faithfulness in the past, we find courage to trust Him in the present. The Book of Deuteronomy reminds us, never forget the Lord your God. His promises still stand, His presence never leaves, and His word leads us to life.